What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tige pack. Tige makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tige Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tige Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tige Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tige Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tige pack. Feel the Tige, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Monday, March 13th, 2023, year of our Lord. Mondays is usually the best days of the week for me because it allows for me to get a head start on everybody else. When everybody is still reeling from the weekend, I have an opportunity to really get ahead, do some awesome things, and then set myself up for success. But what's going on, friends and family? I want to tap in with y'all really quickly inside of the chat to see what y'all talking about. First and foremost, let me acknowledge a good person that has been with me since way before the internet. Actually, Kojak. I've known Kojak for well over 20 years. Shout out to Kojak. Says with the 10 ball, says, what up though? Thanks to Bro Ton Dog, Sis Rita, and all the bag chasers for your prayers for my family and I over the past few days. I love you all, and we love you too, Kojak, because we are a family. The bag chasers are a family. Shout out to all of the Patreon members. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The bag chasers are an incredible family that I believe that if you decide that you want to align yourself with a group of people that's going that way, then you need to go ahead and tap into the Patreon. Again, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me see who else is in the chat. Thank you, Kojak, for rocking out with me, fam, and God bless you. I'm glad that your family is, doing well. Lauren Love says, happy Money Monday, bag chasers. We going to get to the money today, y'all. Shout out to Lauren Love. Kingdom Minded is in the building. I see Centennial G is up here in the streets. Alvin S., I appreciate you. Treese Westmoreland. Vibe with Big Heavy Podcast said, top of the morning. My dog Centennial, Self-Made Forever, says, this going to be interesting. Oh, yeah, we're going to break down the whole bank thing. Now, the banking thing and the money thing, that's my sweet spot. I know y'all like the toxicity. I know y'all like to get into all of the mess. But it is messy. And I think that money is messy. Money can absolutely be a tool. It's a Swiss Army knife also, like women are. But money is messy. Money is absolutely messy. My dog Centennial G says, Brother AD, as always, wish you and your family nothing but good health, safety, and blessings. You joining the KS celebration tonight, brother? Y'all might be a little bit surprised about what my role is in the KS celebration. So stay tuned for that. I actually canceled the Q&A show tonight for several different reasons. But one of the reasons why I canceled the Q&A show was to give some acknowledgement, some love, and then make room for, obviously, everybody to be able to tune in to the Kevin Samuel celebration. So, yes, I was a part of it, but I don't want to divulge exactly what it is. I think you guys should tune in to see what it is and God bless the Samuels family. It's going to be awesome, y'all. So Patrice Jean-Baptiste says, good morning, Anton and fam. Been waiting for your insight on this. I wanted to make sure I got all of the information, and now we've seen a second bank collapse, but we're going to deep dive into that. Thank you for supporting the platform. Thank you for the super chat. Quincy Cuthbert says, hey, Anton, haven't been around in a while, super busy, but I appreciate all that you do. Thank you, love, for rocking out with me. We're going to cook up this morning. We're going to cook up. We're going to break this down. We're going to highlight some things. And thank you to everybody that supports the platform, that hits a like for the YouTube algorithm, that subscribes to the channel, that shares this with their family and friends, and all of the bag chasers, all of the Patreon members. I appreciate you. If you guys need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I see my homegirl Q was in there. I see my girl Randy, you in the building. Azriel, I love you. And all of my friends, AO Inspirational Champion, I appreciate y'all. But let's deep dive into the show because we got a lot to cover. We got to cover the bank. We got to cover Umar Johnson. We got to cover another money talk towards the end of the show. But before we get into all of that, I want to start with this, right? I want to start with this. Now, I dropped a video on the Anton Daniels channel kind of highlighting the sentiments of my heart and what's going on, right? And so I want to communicate it to you guys first and interact with you guys first, and I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. Before I even get started with this, I'm sorry. Let me give an acknowledgement to Mike Guest for supporting the platform on Cash App. It says, for always reminding the haters that you that dude. I want to give a shout out to J1, says, for you and Angry Man in person, keep cooking up. I want to give a shout out to Brian Kincaid for the fireball, says, for the Black Diaspora, that's what they call it, the diaspora. And let me also give a shout out to Gone Postal, says salute. Alonzo Hippolyte says, appreciate the monologues. And AT, I got you, baby girl. I got plans for you, so I'm gonna be contacting you later. But thank you for everybody with the cash apps, the super chats, and everybody that support the platform. Let me break this down really quickly, and I want to give you all my thoughts, and then I'm gonna read the super chats, and we're gonna break down what my thoughts are. So this morning, I highlighted some things that was on my mind, and over the past, I would say, maybe 3-4 months. It might even be longer than that. Rita and I has been having a conversation behind the scenes, and even Q and Aaron and everything like that. And they've been saying, Anton, you beyond this. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be doing the panels, the online panels and things like that, right? And so, of course, I fight my people because I want to participate with my people. Now, a lot of people always use this thing and they say, Anton, you think you're better than everybody else. And that's one of the reasons why, you come on the panels and stunt. And I fight my own people to be on the panels because I like kicking it with my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like kicking it with everybody. I don't care about how much money you make or whatever. Now, that don't mean that I'm not going to stunt when you say something that calls for the stunting, but I like kicking it with people. But Rita and I has been having an even deeper conversation about what retirement looks like, because I retired 4 years ago from corporate America. And then, around that same time, it just so happened that we was building up the Lapeef network, and then the pandemic hit, and then we blew up and all of that other type of stuff. So it took on its own role. And then I got offered another position in corporate America. And for those of you that's in the Patreon, I showed y'all my W-2, so you know exactly why it's like they offered me an ungodly amount of money that I just could not refuse. And so I took another job in corporate America. Businesses was booming. Content creation just continues to take off. And it's just like this never ending cycle of bag chasing, right? But then at the same time, it became more than bag chasing because I became even more passionate about helping people. So for those of you that are in the Patreon, y'all was there when I did an Invest in Your Business series. I sent y'all cash and money, and I didn't even take equity into y'all companies. I just gave y'all the startup money for y'all businesses. And the more you involve yourself with people, even when it's just on panels, you start to develop friendships in real life, because I do these Patreon meetups, and I'm actually announcing my Patreon meetup location soon. You do these Patreon meetups and things like that, and I go to different cities and you do shows, and you run into people at airports and things like that, and you develop a bond with people because they like, yo, Anton, you changed my life. Or, they say a lot of different things that continue to push me, even though originally I had anticipated living the rest of my life, doing my own thing. But anyway, so I've been doing it anyway, and I've been going against everybody else's advice as to what it is that they kept saying was best for me. So last night, and I had been really, really taking it serious, right? I talked to JR. Well, I'll get to the JR with Lapeef in a minute. So last night, I did a live stream with Lucky, and that went awesome. So make sure y'all go over to She's So Lucky channel and be able to check that out, right? I did a live stream with Lucky, and so I'm chilling. So me and my daughter, we sitting there, we hanging out on the couch, we doing family time, me, Rita, and Leslie. And I open up YouTube because I just want to see what they doing on Fight Club, if they had started it early and stuff like that. So I open up YouTube, and I see another video, right? And of course, it was like, I can't go into the details of the video, but I seen another video. And again, me and my daughter was sitting there on the couch, and my daughter is 15. And so she grabbed my phone, and she like, ooh, I want to see this or whatever. And so she's seeing the video, and in the video, she scrubbed over right to the middle and was like, oh, this part boring, and I want to go over to the middle. And I'm giving y'all context because I want y'all to understand that I'm a real person, and these are things that really happen in my real life. I'm not a robot or nothing like that, right? So she scrubbed over to the middle of the video, and it had a picture of Rita, my wife, on there. Now, the person that was talking in the video was somebody that knows me. Like, it's a person that's interacted with me in real life. Now, my daughter don't know this. All she doing is she's seeing the video, right? But it scrubbed over into the middle of the video, and the first thing that they heard, that my daughter heard him say on the video was, man, and this bitch and all that. And I'm telling you exactly what was said. And man, this bitch, I can't believe that he said, that he did this for this bitch early in a relationship when they first got together, and he took this bitch off the street and all of this other type of stuff. Now, it usually don't affect me that way, right? Because it's the internet and you can't control the internet. But my daughter scrolled over right to the middle, and it was just like unexpected. And that bothered me. Honest to God, it bothered the fuck out of me because my daughter was so heartbroken, and she was like, why would they say that about mama? She don't say nothing and she don't do nothing. And I mean, honestly, it bothered the fuck out of me. And I'm not the type of dude to really get emotional, but that shit bothered me. That bothered me when she heard that. And she was like, she was so heartbroken that somebody would say that about her mother when her mother has never said anything about anybody except for show love. And then her mom was sitting there right there, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And that bothered me. It bothered the hell out of me. Honest to God, it bothered me. And just give me a second. You know what I'm saying? Because you do so much for people. And I'm not innocent, right? I'm not saying that I'm innocent at all. That's not what this is. What it is a reality check, right? The reality check is, at what point do you say, okay, I got it. I hear you. It's not that no more. At what point do you say that? Because these two people, these two women, my wife and my daughter, are the most meaningful people to me in the world. If they don't exist, I don't need to be here. Real talk. If they don't exist, I don't need to be here. You could just take me off this earth right now. Everything else is extra. Everything else is extra. Anyways, so coming back to it, right? It was like a reality check. And sometimes, and I believe that God put things in front of you that allows for you to see more clearly. So, I've decided that enough is enough. Not with regard to the Millionaire Morning Show. I got long-term plans for that. And I don't want to announce that or talk about that right now. That's later. Not regard to the Anton Daniels channel or the interviews or the in-person panels that we do. But I think that the online panels can be useful. I think that they can be incredibly entertaining. And I also believe that there are people that are coming that I've recognized, that I've been able to spot, that I've been able to see, some that I've been able to groom, that is their time. It's their time. I don't have to be in front of the camera for the entirety of it. My talent is not even being in front of the camera. My talent is living the life and being an example visibly for people to see from the blueprint perspective. But also on top of that, my other talent is bag chasing and putting people into positions of power. I'm supposed to be spending more time chasing deals, securing sponsorships for people, developing a marketing plan for other people to be able to get put on, have more visibility, and be putting people in positions of power. This is cool. And we going to have these conversations on the Millionaire Morning Show. But the more important thing for me to do is to put other people in positions of power that I think are much, much better at, having a conversation, communicating effectively, doing all of these things. So what you'll see over the next few weeks, over the next month, so on and so forth, is you will see me transition from being less visible online, especially with regard to panels. These entities that we've created, including Fight Club, including Q&A, and you will also see some new shows coming up that I'm curating behind the scenes. And even Lapeef Let's Talk. Because I even contemplated that, and I'm like, man, I've never missed a show on Lapeef Let's Talk. That's going to be wild. That's going to be weird. But I was having a conversation with JR, and I said, listen, if we are not replacing ourselves, if we're not giving other people bigger opportunities and bigger things to do, then we're not really doing our job. If everything is based off of just seeing him and me, and that's the only reason why people tune in, then we're not doing our job effectively. We need to be putting other people in positions of power. And so I had that conversation with him, and I will be on Lapeef Let's Talk this Thursday. But sooner, very soon, sooner rather than later, you will see me taking different positions and going into a different space, and I will slowly but surely, or quickly but surely, be phasing myself out from the visibility that comes in front of the camera. I don't need to be in front of the camera. It's not necessary. I will continue to nurture and put people in position. You may even see me pop up once every 6 months or so on and so forth. But I believe that it's time for me to leave the game before the game leave me. It's time for me to leave the game before the game leaves me. I don't want to be the dude on the basketball court still saying that I got it, trying to compete with these young dudes. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all smart. Y'all articulate. Y'all are phenomenal. I think that there's some very, very, very talented men and women out there that can do some awesome things with regard to these conversations, and the conversations need to continue. I just think that my voice has ran its course with certain conversations, and I'd rather be having conversations about building money, building people with regard to money, continuing to pour into people. I want to spend more time inside of my Patreon, doing live streams there with smaller groups of people instead of, all of these big groups of people that tune in on the Lapeef Network and the Anton Daniels channel and stuff like that. I want to interview bigger people. I want to interview big politicians and dignitaries. I want to chase down big deals and sponsorships for the people that work for me. I want to curate and put other producers in place that come up with better ideas and things that I can't do because I'm not as talented as other people. There's some other talented people that need to be getting to the bag, and maybe I need to be putting them in position. And so my goal is to put other people in place that then, do bigger and greater things that I can do. And I think that my goal or what I was supposed to do was to set the foundation, and now I want to hand the football off to everybody else to run it. So over the next however long, you will see me slowly but surely start to disappear from what goes on. And I want to enjoy my family. I want to spend more time with my daughter. I want to spend more time with my wife off camera. And I want to be I'm always work. I'm going to work to the day that I die, but I think the type of work that I need to do needs to be a little bit different. So those are my thoughts. That's where I stand on it. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's a great opportunity for other people to stand in, do some great things, and to be able to, step into the shoes and the spaces that I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be able to create for y'all to be able to take the ball and run with it. So with that being said, and I know I got a little bit emotional in the middle of there, but whenever I think about my daughter and, how she's affected by certain things, it is meaningful to me. And I am a person, and I do get emotional. I just don't let those emotions determine what it is that I'm going to do long term in a negative way. So that's where I stand with it. That's what it is. We do our thing. Now, with that being said, I do want to say that if you are looking for an opportunity, and I am not going to be just letting any old scraggly rag come up on my panels and be able to do things. I have new shows that will be produced. I have some people already in place that are absolutely awesome. And I got some great things on the horizon, and I'm looking for some awesome people. I will still be watching the shows. I will be still participating and paying attention to what's going on everywhere, Fight Club, all of that. And I'm looking for great people. I'm looking for some sexy women that can also articulate themselves and not afraid to say what they really think. And I'm also looking for some dope fellas that don't get on the live stream with a bonnet on and not looking stupid, but that's willing to defend their point and stand up for what it is that they believe in. From all ends of the spectrum, both people that have views that may be a little bit liberal, conservative, political, relationships, all of that type of stuff. We doing some dope things behind the scenes, and that's what I want to work on. And so I'm going to let some more of my gray grow in. I want to, be a little bit more of an older guy now. I want to embrace my older age a little bit more. And I want to put y'all on. And so that's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm working for. So let me know if you need to get in touch with me. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. If you are interested in jumping on panels and things like that. More importantly, I look for people that's already took the initiative, jumping on Fight Club, all of that type of stuff, and having a conversation. But we are looking to curate some awesome things and do some phenomenal things with people. So let me tap in, see what y'all talking about with the Super Chats, because I want to read the Super Chats. I did not forget you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. And maybe I can let loose a little bit more and be a little bit more comfortable. Not always having to be at the forefront of the conversation in order to drive change forward within our community. But then we can mine this out a little bit differently and show y'all what being a girl dad is really about. Chester Williams says, are you familiar with Jaspreet Singh and the Minority Mindset? He is also from Michigan and mentioned today and is 313 Day in Detroit. What is 313 Day? 313 Day is a celebration of Detroit. 313 is the area code of Detroit. And 313 Day is how we within the city ultimately celebrate everything in the city, especially the culture by which we've built up, including the automotive culture, the local artists, whether you are a creator, whether you are a content creator, whether you are an entertainer, and then the different industries that are uniquely Detroit. Because contrary to popular belief, what people don't know about Detroit is that Detroit is the blackest city in the United States of America. It is not Atlanta. It is not Houston. It is not Brooklyn. It is not none of these places. Detroit has been and is still the blackest city in the United States of America, and we celebrate that here in Detroit. So that is what 313 Day is. But I'm definitely going to look up that person. C2 Night says, Anton, I appreciate you much, big dog, taking my time with my grime and getting into the tunnel vision studying at Anton Daniels University. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, because I plan on spending even more time in the Patreon and meeting up with y'all in person, and I will still be doing the in-person panels because I think that those are more conducive for what it is that I want to do. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We rocking out from that perspective. Thank you, C2 Nice. We got Bahiyudin. Says 19 years married, dad to son and daughter. I feel you. People that are parents and that are really involved in their kids' lives, they get it. They get it. Pretty Boy 79 says the family comes first. Cliff Williams with the Fat Ball says, even if you check out, bro, I love and support you 1,000%. They hate us because they ain't us. I'll be in a Patreon waiting for content. Dropping content probably within the next 2 days. G Firm says, I'm sorry that happened, bro. Unfortunately, in this life, more money, more problems. And more heights you reach, more haters try to pull you down. Love you, bro. Thank you, G-Firm. Oh, we going to still run that bag up. We just don't have to necessarily be visible to do it. James Turner with the 20 ball says, Anton, what right do you have to say if it wasn't for your wife and daughter, there wouldn't be any reason for you to be here? How dare you disrespect God's creation respectfully? Don't ever put that out there again. I understand that James is just being passionate about what he believes and everything like that. But I believe that largely my sense of purpose is inspired by the people that mean the most to me. I think you can understand that. And I could be wrong. I could be open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I appreciate you. Freemason Speaks, thank you for the 20 ball and supporting the platform. 86 Train says, you said it a couple shows ago. People said that you're too accessible. Godspeed to those hyenas are going to be happy to see you fade, bro. Oh, don't worry, though. Just because they see me fade, it don't mean that it ain't 100 other dudes that I got on a back burner that's going to hold these women accountable. V. Scott says, the people that's ready to take over and move up, we ready. Shout out to my dog Vern. He be on the panel that we show on Saturday nights. We just had Angry Man. Says, Rita is a beautiful, sweet, lovely lady. Love her. Salute to your family. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate you. Let me get to a few more of these super chats, and then we're going to get into Silicon Valley Bank. MB says, family always comes first. This is playing the long game, but we can't pretend that a vacuum isn't going to be created by your departure. I think that we'll be fine. I think y'all going to forget about me all. We still going to have the Millionaire Morning Show. We still going to have the Anton Daniels channel. We're going to be doing the interviews. Everything is going to be absolutely awesome no matter what. King Rock says, crazy thing is, even after what you said, people will only think the confrontation with unran you off the net. Salute to you. Oh, I don't care what anybody thinks. I've been here for a long time. I've been doing so many awesome things that it doesn't even matter. Elliot Jackson says, you taking an application for co-host potentially? Absolutely. I think I'm going to put Q in charge of that. Terrell LMAO says, will you still do coaching calls once you fully step away from YouTube? Yes. If you need to get in touch with me for a coaching call or a Zoom call, actually doing this will open me up to more opportunities to be able to spend more time with you guys personally one-on-one. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to make sure I get y'all scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call. Elliot Jackson says, also look at Jaspreet Singh. He has a recent interview with Tom Bellew, something you should do when he has some very good breakdowns on various financial topics. You could do some great collabs. I'll absolutely look at him. I'll look into it. Thank you all for supporting the platform. Thank you all for the super chats, for the cash apps, and also for hitting a like for the YouTube algorithm. Shout out to all of the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Those are my thoughts. And without further ado, I will be reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you to everybody that continues to contribute to the platform. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, for the love of the game. Thank you for the fireball, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for everybody rocking with me. Now, let me get into my bag, all right? Because my bag is bag talk.
CNN's chief business correspondent, Christine Romans, is here with us. Christine, okay, if you weren't paying attention on Friday afternoon, you were off work or on a trip, break down exactly what happened here with SVB.
Yeah, the anatomy of a collapse of a big bank and the anatomy of a rescue from the federal government. Let's look at how we got here. First of all, what is SVB? It is the epicenter of tech startups, venture capital, Silicon Valley Bank. It is the 16th largest bank, or it was, in the United States. And this is really the oxygen for technology. The technology sector really goes through SVB. So a very important
reading super chats throughout the show.
By the end of 2022, it had $175 billion in total deposits. And here is the anatomy of the bank run, right? This is how much money it had at the end of the year. Just on Thursday, there were $42 billion in withdrawals from deposits.
Now, I'm in a unique position to be able to have this conversation and break this down to a science from a C student's perspective so that you guys can truly understand this, okay? Why? Because I've been participating in the banking system as far as what it is that I do professionally for a very long time. My job within the banking system is in information technology, but specifically user experience. User experience forces me to do a deeper dive into understanding every other aspect of the bank so that when we create the experiences and the applications and what it is that you see on when you go to the ATMs and when you do these online apps and things like this, whether or not you're just trying to withdraw money or take a deposit or even pay your mortgage, we study other banks, we study other competitors, and then we deep dive into the different aspects of our banks in order to be able to mine out exactly how it is that we can affect and give the best customer service. So I'm in a unique position to be able to break this down. During the pandemic, and while the pandemic was happening from 2020 to beginning all the way through 2022, we had a wild amount of deposits inside of the banks. Now, it's two factors, okay? And this is the thing that they're not going to share with y'all, and this is the thing that they're not going to break down with y'all, but I'm going to break it down for y'all. It's two factors that really played a huge role in what was happening with the banks. A, the pandemic, and there was a lot of free money, and then B, there was an exponential amount of inflation. Now, for those of you that has been following me for the last 2 years and you've been tuned into the Millionaire Morning Show, I broke down what inflation was, how it was affecting you at that particular time, and that it was giving you a false sense of security and that you had more money than you really did. Because while you were begging the government and saying that y'all could have gave that money to the people, it didn't come with any caveats that allowed for you to substantiate exactly what that money was worth. So inflation hit it high of more than 9%, 10%, and for some of y'all in y'all real life, inflation was a lot more than that based off of your lifestyle. Now, if you haven't been following me, let me give you the crash course. Inflation is how much money is continuing to go up, which also devalues the money. When I say devalue the money, I'm saying that it's going to cost you more every single day to do the things that you do every single day, but that backing is not substantiated against anything anymore. Fiat currency, the dollar. Okay, I don't even know if I got any money. Let's see if I got some money. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is not worth the paper that it's printed on. Okay, this is not worth the paper that it's printed on. What gives it its value is two different things. Originally, the value was backed by the U.S. Treasury and what it was that we had in order to substantiate what a dollar was worth. Gold, silver, coins, so on and so forth. As we evolved throughout the industry, our stupid politicians, banking industries, and so on and so forth, what they did was, instead of starting to solve for the initial issues that we had within our economy and making it stronger, they said, we'll just print more money, right? Now, when you print more money, but you don't have anything to back it, the only thing that they have to substantiate the value of this currency is your belief in it. Follow me, y'all. I'm going to break it down to a science for y'all. When you print more money, the only thing to substantiate the value of what it is your belief in it. So they need you to believe that this thing means something to them in order to substantiate the value that we have in it, because the minute that you stop believing in it, then the whole system collapses. And that's why in other countries, you can get $1 million bill and it doesn't even buy you a sack of rice, because they no longer have belief in the currency, because inflation and all these other factors play a huge role in the fact that you no longer substantiate the value of that fiat currency. And so when I tell you guys inside of the Patreon, and this is one of the reasons why I want y'all to join the Bag Chasers, to place your money, cash doesn't mean anything. And you've heard me say this over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, y'all was sitting there still talking about a money phone, and I'm up here putting all of my money in assets, real estate, things that actually can beat the rate of inflation, because regardless of how high inflation is and how low the value of your money is, all of these assets will continue to keep up with the rate of inflation, because people will still need goods and services in order to survive. Okay? If you do not understand what I'm saying, I have videos that break this stuff down, inflation, all of this other type of stuff, the things that I look for when I'm looking to invest in a company, how to reverse snowball in real estate. All of those things are in the Patreon, and it unlocks. You don't have to buy a course. All of those things are in the Patreon. But long story short, I'm giving you the foundation so you understand how the banking industry works. Let me give you another caveat before we start to deep dive into why the banks collapsed, okay? How banks make money. Follow me. I need y'all to pay attention. Pay attention like you never did in college or in high school. How banks make money, and the reason why I keep telling you guys to get out of debt, is that they take your deposits. So follow me. I'm going to go back to why it was so important for us to pay attention to what happened during the pandemic. It was the precursor to what I warned you was going to happen today. I warned you that this was going to happen. They take your deposits. So when she said it was $175 billion in deposits, and they specialize in certain industries, certain credit unions, certain banks, they lend to a specific type of customer. This bank in particular was lending to Silicon Valley. Okay. Other banks, they more focus on mortgages and all of these other things. And then in order to reduce the risk, they buy and sell mortgages based off of tranches and how it is that they see the industry playing out depending on how big the feds raise the rates. So a lot of y'all said in college and in high school, what do I care about math and numbers? We're not going to be able to use it. Well, now it's more imperative than ever, because the apocalypse is at hand and you don't even know it, because you're going to work every day and you don't even realize you're going to be blaming your job and the banks in order for you to lose your job, because you didn't understand how money works and how it was that you was able to prepare yourself for the coming apocalypse. So this is how it plays out. Banks take the deposits that were overwhelming because they were giving out free money and running up inflation, which then prevented you from being able to find adequate housing. They take the deposits, right? And then they take that money and they lend it out to the rest of everybody else, but they charge interest on top of it. You have a house. You have a house. You get a 30-year mortgage at 4, 5, 6, 7%, right? And then when you paying your mortgage, they front load it to where you paying down the principal slowly but surely. But while you're paying the interest, by the time you pay off the house, you're gonna more than pay 3 times of the value of that house before it's over. So instead of you trying to get rid of it, you're continuing to take it in and pay off interest, which then makes the banking industry profitable. So every time you look at your mortgage and you paid, $1,200 in interest and $300 towards the principal, that $1,200 is free money. Now, how do banks collapse? How do they find themselves in a space to where it absolutely erodes to the point to where they're collapsing, and then the government is trying to back the financial system in order to give you more confidence in where it is that you spend your money so that you don't put it under your mattress? Banks collapse because, ta-da, credit, subprime lending, people going into business and then no longer being able to pay their bills, risk, businesses being lent to. Why do you think that they don't want to lend to black people or black businesses? Because just because they won't allocate more money in order to substantiate more black businesses, because they're taking a calculated risk, knowing that the average business, especially when you're in a black community, the Hispanic community, so on and so forth, fails within the first 2 years, and the bank never get their money back. So it's not that they don't care about black businesses. They don't care about your ability to be able to pay them back. Subprime lending then allows for them to take more risk, because then they're going to charge you more interest with the possibility that you're going to default on your payment. And so it's all one cyclical game. Credit is the gamification to determine whether or not you're going to be a good buyer or a lender. And they want to give more money out, but they want to try to be more calculated on how they're going to do it. The problem is, once you start having an apocalypse, like this manufactured raising of the rates in order to try to lower inflation, because the value of your money is becoming worthless, and you guys are not listening and buying assets that allows for you to be able to keep up with the rate of inflation, what happens is you start seeing these layoffs, and then when Microsoft lays off, and Meta lays off, and Amazon Web Services lays off, and then Ford and Chrysler and GM and Tesla, and then Elon Musk going by Twitter, and they say that, listen, we're not paying a mortgage over that shit, but then this guy got a mortgage on this huge commercial building, and he can't make the payments, but then they can't make payroll. What do you think starts to happen? It all trickles up back into the banking system, because they are largely dependent on everything working in tandem in order for them to be able to get their payments from everybody that's trickling down. Okay? Are y'all understanding from a C student's perspective how the banking industry works? If you don't get it, I'm suggesting that you rewind what it is that I'm telling you so that you can understand how it all works together and why they then say the banks are too big to fail. Part of the reason why they say the banks are too big to fail is because we don't make anything anymore. We become so dependent on easy money, which is we don't have to do nothing but give you some free money and you some free money and you some free money in order to keep you in this system, in this perpetual cycle, and that you're going to continue to borrow until you can't anymore, which is why they then extend the payments from 60 months to 72 months to 84 months. And now people are taking 96-month loans and they're still defaulting on them because they have to keep the system rolling, because we don't make anything that we can then export in order to bring in more money. We're just lenders now. That's it. Borrowers and lenders. And so what the Biden administration is trying to do is they're trying to hurry up and capitalize off of what Trump was already trying to do in the first place, which is bring goods, services, and manufacturing, which is one of the reasons why we had a trade war with NAFTA, in which we renegotiated with China. Or China, that's a whole nother trade war. But NAFTA was the North American Free Trade Agreement in which we renegotiated with Canada and we renegotiated with Mexico, because we wanted to have more manufacturing facilities, but they had to incentivize companies to build here. But it's too late, because they raising rates at the same time while they're trying to race to have the CHIPS Act and then be able to get this stuff back up. And then we're trying to have the infrastructure and the Build Back Better plan. And so they try to tax rich people to get more people building and working and doing things, because they already see the collapse and what's happening within the banking system. So now Biden has to, and I'm about to play this video, Biden has to come and reassure the general public so that y'all don't hurry up and run to the banks and pull all of your money out and do like this. This is how banking works. This is why they say banks are too big to fail. And you know how they're going to reassure that you have confidence in the bank and why Biden is going to get up there? We're going to play the video. Is that they're going to print more money for you guys to continue to have confidence in the banking system, which also continues to increase inflation and goes against what it is that they're doing as far as raising rates. So they don't know how to manage money and bank effectively, because they're so busy trying to satisfy you as a voter instead of doing the thing that's in your best interest. It's supposed to hurt now so it doesn't absolutely destroy us later. You know how you give your kid a whooping? You give your kid a whooping so that it sticks with them later, and then society don't have them locked up in prison. It's the same concept that we're supposed to be implementing within our households, financial discipline. But y'all hoes is so busy trying to find a dude with an 800 credit score that don't even have any assets. And instead of trying to understand how money works so that you can align yourself with somebody that's actually doing the work and going in the direction that you're going in, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. See, here's the thing that they're not going to tell you, what rich people is not going to tell you. They're not going to give you this game because they're going to make you pay for it. They're going to make you pay for this. We had to suffer, go to school, open up businesses, fail, become successful, employ people to better understand exactly what it is that I'm telling you right now. I'm giving you the crash course because I love you. I know that y'all don't like me because of it, because you're going to say Anton liked the stunt. Fuck what it is that you feel about me. Pay attention to what I'm saying so that you can better understand exactly what's happening within the banking industry and how it's going to totally destroy everything that you... Listen, the next collapse is going to be worse than 2008, and you're not going to be prepared for it. This is why the Biden administration is coming into the forefront, and they're saying, let me reassure everything that's happening within the banking system and the voters, because if everything go to shit, it's going to be 10 times worse than what happened in 2008. Hear me out. If you are hoarding cash and you have a bunch of money in savings, and I've been telling y'all this for the last 3 years almost. I tell y'all on a coaching call, y'all say, Anton, but I'm so scared of letting this cash go. If you are not buying assets, reducing your liabilities, reducing your lifestyle in order to prepare to capitalize off of what's about to happen, you are very, very much going to be distraught, dismayed. Homelessness is running rampant, and it's going to be 10 times worse than ever. If the Biden administration doesn't get confidence back in the banking system immediately, in order to buy himself some time to be able to somehow, some way bring good services, manufacturing, infrastructure, and get people back working to do things that they're supposed to do, it is going to be gnawing and gnashing of the teeth, and it is going to be bad. Trust me, I'm telling you. Hear me out. Nobody can break this down the way that I break it down, because I'm from the streets. I'm from the hood. I was raised in the inner city of Detroit. I went to all of their schools and their universities. I went to their private schools. I heard the way that they talk. They don't want you to have this information because they're going to capitalize off of it. It's a lot of people that think that they know about money and they have no clue. They cannot stand in front of me, and that's why they fear us. They fear people like me, because then I'm going to expose the truth behind what it takes in order to be successful. And it's going to upend everything that they were trying to sell to you in the first place, because they don't want you to be free. They don't want you. Slavery in 2023 is debt. It's not the plantation. It's not cotton. It's your slavery to the gamification of having a great credit score. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. I got to break it down. I'm going to go ahead and play the video a little bit more for y'all, because I know y'all need that visual representation in order to better understand what I'm saying. But what I'm telling you is that you need to share this video. If there's no other video that I've ever done on a Millionaire Morning Show, you need to share this video with your friends and family so that you can better understand what's happening and prepare yourself. And I'm not saying to prepare yourself to survive. That's not what we do at the Millionaire Morning Show. It's going to be winners and it's going to be losers. The middle class is going away, and it's going to be people that win by capitalizing off of everybody else's pain. Don't be the person that's being pained. Be the person that's capitalizing off of what, because it's got to happen. You're going to have to choose a side. You're going to have to choose a side, whether you're going to be a winner or a loser. The winners are going to buy everything up at a discount as a result of y'all losing everything and going homeless, not being able to provide for your family, and then inflation for you is going to die, is going to kill you. And then y'all going to say tax the rich, and then the middle class is going to completely go away as a result of it. Let me play a little bit more of this video. I'm reading super chats after the show.
Right? So something happened here where people wanted to take their money out, and this bank unraveled here. So what happened? Why did they get there? Well, this is a company that for years took deposits in the good times when interest rates were very low, and it grew and grew and grew. And those deposits grew, and it put that money into long-dated treasuries, into treasuries, safe, super safe treasuries, right? So this is how much they had.
Read super chat shortly.
2022, $128 billion worth of treasury. Look, that is amazing how much it gained. But then as things started to go south, when interest rates were rising, those were less valuable, and the company actually was selling those treasuries at a loss. When
interest rates go up, they then have to sell it at a loss, right? How does interest rates go up? Well, these boring quarterly Fed rate hikes that they're doing at 3 basis points, 2 basis points, 0.5%, 25%. Now that it's getting to a point to where it's costing you more to be able to borrow money every single day, it becomes less profitable for the banks. Now, those little bitty interest rate hikes, they kill banking profits, because then you will have less confidence in being able to borrow, because you can't afford to buy a house anymore, because then you can't afford to pay for what the prices are that people are unwilling to sell for you, because they bought the house at X and they can't go below X in order to be able to stay profitable. They can't go below X. So what happens is it's a stalemate. Rates continue to go up because the Fed has no choice, because they got to raise, because inflation is too high. Price of chicken is too high. Price of gas is too high. So they got to raise the rates. They have to manufacture a recession. They just don't know how bad it's going to be.
That word got out. People got nervous. The stock in the bank started to decline. Depositors started to withdraw their money. They were also withdrawing their money because technology, that sector, was in a downturn, right? And so instead of putting money into the bank, depositors were taking money out of the bank, and the bank could not sustain it.
Their confidence, consumer confidence, is the only thing that allows for banks to be able to survive. Consumer confidence. The minute that people got word, because trust me, it's people at the top that already knew what the hell was going on, and they told all of their little friends and everything like that. And the minute that people got word of something that was going on, you know what they did? The people that were in the know, that had friends of friends that knew what was going on, they raced to go and take all of their money out of the bank, because they wasn't waiting on Biden to try to come save y'all.
Come to the rescue, the United States government. The FDIC is going to insure up to $250,000 in normal times, and now you're going to have this facility so that above that level, everyone will be made whole. Not the.
Now, think about this. When you go and sign up for a bank account, right, they have tiers. And the tiers are, listen, Mr. Daniels, if you open up a business account, you can waive the monthly fee. Well, why would they say that? Because they know if you're only keeping $500, $600, $700 inside of your bank account, and you're not doing transaction, which they then have partnerships with the credit card companies in order to pay them, which is why your card says Visa, MasterCard, so on and so forth. They don't make any money from you, right? They don't make any money from you. And so what they do is they have tiers, and they say, well, if you get the platinum checking account, which requires you to get direct deposit, which is a better chance for them to have a higher balance, which then allows for them to be able to lend out more money, then you can waive the fees. And if you keep at least $2,000 in there, then you get this benefit. And if you keep $5,000 and $20,000, and if you want to have an account in which you can trade, you can day trade in it, then you have to have a minimum of at least $20,000, $25,000 in there in order to be able to cover short calls and all of this other type of stuff. And then it starts to get a little bit more complicated, right? It gets a little bit more complicated. But when you go and you sign up for these bank accounts and these brokerage accounts and things like that with these banks, right? You never read the fine print where it said that this is FDIC insured up to $250,000 per deposit. Well, why? Because we've never had the banking system fail to where people couldn't get their money out. And so now that everybody is losing billions and billions of dollars because of this banking collapse, because money is just magically disappearing in thin air, the Biden administration is looking to pivot and then insure people by saying, listen, we're going to have to cover more than that because people need to be able to pay payroll. And all these companies had all of this money because they was doing banking with them, especially these technology companies. And we can't let the technology sector fail, because what does technology produce? Nothing. It produces no real tangible asset. And so as a result, they can't afford for it to fail, because it's the largest way in which we make our money within the United States of America. And so the Biden administration is going to say, we're going to cover all of the money now, not just the $250,000 per account for FDIC insured. Let's pivot from this really quickly and let's see what Biden's specific talking points were when it comes to the Silicon Valley and another bank that just recently collapsed on top of it.
I want to briefly speak about what's happening in Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Today, thanks to the quick action of my administration over the past few days, Americans can have confidence.
I'm reading super chats right after this. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for supporting the platform.
That the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them.
Think about what I'm telling y'all. The very first thing that he says is, listen, the banking system is safe. Look at this, guys. It still says, in God we trust on the back of this thing. It still says it. The banking system is safe. It's safe. Hey guys, the banking system is safe. Listen, behind the scenes, they don't sweat when it comes to war. They don't give a fuck when it comes to Ukraine. They not tripping when it comes to running over and taking over another fucking country. The thing that keeps these motherfuckers up at night is the banking system. I'm telling you. Y'all think it's systematic oppression that they give a fuck about whether or not black people get educated? No, they give a fuck about whether or not black people go to school so that they can take out debt to continue to support the banking system that then allows for you to be able to be tied to the Democratic Party. It's all about money. It all comes back to money. If you want to understand politics, you need to understand how money works. If you want to understand what's happening in your neighborhood, you need to understand how money works. If you want to understand the family dynamic and whether or not feminism is really making sense as far as the profitability that goes in the family court and all of these other sectors that then feed into what's happening within our system, you need to understand how money works. The first thing he said is, hey guys, the banking system is safe. The banking system is safe. The banking system is safe. He didn't say, hello, guys. He didn't say, he usually walk in like he owned the fucking place. The first thing he said was, hey, guys, listen, the banking system is safe. We got you. We got you. The banking system is safe. Listen to what's being communicated, not just what's said to you.
All businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills. And their hardworking employees can breathe easier as well. Last week, when we learned of the problems of the banks and the impact they could have on jobs of small businesses and banking system overall, I instructed.
Do you really think that they just learned about it? If you found out last week, how long do you think that they know? If you found out last week, do you really believe the words that is coming out of this man's mouth and that he has the most intelligent people in the fucking face of this earth behind the scenes feeding him information and working on his behalf with all of the intelligence systems that he has going on, and you think he just found out the same day that you found out? You think he just found out the same day that you found out? Okay.
To my team to act quickly to protect these interests. They've done that. On Friday, the government regulator in charge, the FDIC, took control of Silicon Valley Bank's assets. And over the weekend, it took control of Signature Bank's assets. Treasury Secretary Yellen and a team of bank.
Why is it so ironic that the banks are starting to collapse one by one, back to back? Now, I will give y'all a little bit of insight. Banks fail all the time. The 6th largest bank in the fucking United States of America don't fail like that, though. Small banks fail all the time, but they don't have enough assets for it to really resonate on a large scale as far as the news and then rattle the markets and then ultimately rattle your confidence as a consumer in the banking system, which then prevents them from being able to really be able to run the government the way that they're supposed to. Small banks fail regularly. I know a lot of y'all like to have all of these dumb conversations where y'all say, we need our own black banks. Boy, you don't even understand how money works. How you going to have a black bank? So we could lend to black people. Cool. So your bank can collapse the same way that this bank over here collapsed and that bank over there collapsed because it's still a business. And if you don't understand how money works, then you are going to be at the tail end of this conversation trying to figure out where the fuck your money went. Just because it's black don't mean that we need to do it. You need to have the understanding that go along with it.
Banking regulators have taken action, immediate action. And here are the highlights. First, all customers who had deposits in these banks can rest assured. I want to rest assured they'll be protected.
Have to instill the
Have
confidence.
access to their money as of today. That includes small businesses across the country that bank there and need to make payroll, pay their bills, and stay open for business. No losses will be, and this is an important point, no losses will be borne by the taxpayers. Let me repeat that. No losses will be borne by.
Boy, if they not trying to instill confidence, let me tell you something. The minute that a peep came out of these banks that these banking systems were failing, it was like $47 billion withdrawn from the bank. That's what caused it to collapse. News, information is what. And now we have information that travels faster than ever. That's where the collapse came, because the confidence is eroded. The collapse comes with the lack of confidence within the banking system.
By the taxpayers. Instead, the money will come from the fees that banks pay into the Deposit Insurance Fund. Because of the actions that our regulators have already taken, every American should feel confident that their deposits will be there if and when they need them.
Now, what he's trying to tell you and what he's secretly trying to communicate to you is he's instilling confidence by saying that, hey guys, this is not going to come at a cost to you. These banks are paying these depositor fees. So it's almost like unemployment insurance for the banks, just in case one of them fail. We got this. Don't worry. Keep putting your money in the banks. Keep throwing your money in the banks. They're not going to tell you how to do the thing that's in your best interest, because then it wouldn't be in their best interest. Now, a lot of you going to say to me, Anton, well, where is it that we supposed to put our money if we not putting it in the banks? Because they've already tied you literally to the bank. It's probably not one person in this chat that get a physical check. You guys, and even if you get a physical check, it's still coming from another bank. All of y'all got direct deposit. All of y'all got debit cards. All of y'all got credit cards, and all of y'all got debt. So you're intimately tied into the banking system, which then makes you vulnerable to what's happening within society. Anton, where should we put our money? Well, here's the question that you really should ask yourself. What is it that I've been telling you for the last 2.5 years about assets? Limiting the amount of debt that you are using in order to be able to pay these banks and to pay the servicers of these mortgages, the servicers of these credit cards, the servicers of these student loan debts. What? Listen. Why do you think that they still have a moratorium and a pause on student loan payments? You think that they doing that because they care about you? They can't have two different problems at the same time that would then cause for the collapse of the consumer confidence within the banking system and what's happening within society. Listen, if you have an eroded amount of confidence because you don't have the ability to be able to even pay your bills, which is largely funded by the idea that they sold you that higher education is supposed to cost more so that you can make more money in the end. But then your inability to even be able to pay your bills because your employer don't even have access to what it is that they need to pay you with. When you have two huge things collide at the same time, there is no more consumer confidence, because people only care about survival at that point. They stop going on trips. They stop buying shit. They stop going to events. They stop doing the thing that actually is generating the most revenue, because it's transactions here and there that's then driving the American economy, because, ta-da, we don't actually make anything anymore. We don't make anything anymore. We don't make anything anymore to the point to where we're not even really manufacturing cars anymore. You know why dealerships is going away? Why Elon Musk is so prevalent? Because Elon Musk is capitalizing off of the idea that we don't make anything anymore. It's over-the-air updates. You don't even have to take your car into the dealership anymore in order to get an update or to get it serviced. They did away with spark plugs. You don't even have a fucking engine in your car no more. You don't even have to go and get an oil change. Dealerships largely made more money off of the services than they did off selling you the actual cars. But dealerships is going away. The models is going away. Everything is manufactured, and it's all based off of consumer confidence, which is why Biden is sitting in front of you with more incentive to instill his job. Let me tell you what Biden's job is. His job is to sell you. He's not doing anything differently for you. He's not helping you. He's not actually giving you any information that allows for you to be more successful. He's not passing any laws. He's not writing any policies. And he barely can even read the teleprompter to tell you what's going on with the banking industry the way that I'm breaking it down for you right now. His job is to sit up here like a puppet and to sell you on the idea of consumer confidence, and to continue to do the thing that you've been doing for the extended period of time, because all they're doing is kicking the can down the road. They don't fix anything. They don't help you do anything. Their job is literally a salesperson. He's on here selling you on having more confidence within the banking industry. He is no different than any other executive for any major corporation that is governed by a board that then is trying to instill confidence in the shareholders and the people that work for him in order to keep the company afloat. Except for his company is much bigger. He's nothing more than a puppet for the people. And y'all sitting here arguing every single fucking day about Orange Man bad, Biden good, but you really don't even understand how money works and how things are being affected within your own community because you are sold every single day based off of a narrative. Listen to how he about to sell you. Watch the sales pitch.
Second, the management of these banks will be fired. If the bank is taken over by FDIC, the people running the bank should not work there anymore.
The
Third,
banking managers are going to be fired. We're going to hold these people accountable. Consumer confidence, make people feel good, give them a sense of peace within themselves, put somebody up on a stake and a knife so that you can say that, oh man, we're going to hold somebody accountable. Burn them at the stake.
Investors in the banks will not be protected. They knowingly took a risk, and when the risk didn't pay off, investors lose their money. That's how capitalism works.
Oh,
and
really?
Fourth, there are important questions of how these banks got into the circumstance in the first place. We must get the full accounting of what happened and why those responsible can be held accountable.
We got to get the full accounting to understand what happened with these banks so that we can hold these people accountable. Let me ask y'all a question. How many banking executives, come, let's do a little bit of history. How many banking executives actually went to jail as a result of what happened during the 2008 collapse? Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to leave that as trivia for y'all. How many banking executives actually went to jail as a result of the 2008 collapse? Boom, 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 boom.
In my administration, no one is above the law.
Nobody's above the law.
And finally,
Nobody.
we must reduce the risk of this happening again. During the Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, including...
So during the Obama-Biden administration, they put in tough requirements for Silicon. You talking about the bank that literally just collapsed last week. You put in tough federal regulations and requirements to prevent this from happening and to foresee this happening. I'm sorry, you talking about the 6th largest bank in America that you said was too big to fail. You talking about one of the banks that you actually gave a bailout to back in 2008. Follow the money, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
The Dodd-Frank law to make sure that the crisis we saw in 2008 would not happen again. Unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements.
Oh, it was the last administration that did it. Oh, Trump rolled back the requirements. So it's his fault. But you gonna fix it, right? Trump rolled back the requirements that you guys said in 2008 in order to prevent this from happening. But Trump rolled back. They did it. Listen, bad Orange Man bad. They did it. We here to save the day and fix it for you guys.
I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again.
Less likely.
And to protect American jobs and small businesses. Look, the bottom line is this. Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe.
Yeah.
Your deposits are safe.
Reassuring.
Let me also assure you, we will not stop at this. We'll do whatever is needed.
Whatever needed, guys.
On top of all that, let's also take a look at a moment to put the situation in a broader context.
Okay, help us.
We've made strong economic progress in the past 2 years.
You got it.
We've created more than 12 million new jobs. More jobs in 2 years than any president has ever created in a single 4-year term.
Now, why are we not talking about the banks, and what the fuck is he talking about jobs? What does... Sir, respectfully, and I only say this respectfully because you're the president of the United States, right? What the fuck are we talking about? What are we The banks is fucking collapsing one by one, and you sitting here talking about creating fucking jobs? What are you talking about, man? Is this your hero? Is this your hero? What is he fucking talking about? What does this have to do with the price of potatoes in China?
Unemployment is below 4% for 14 straight months. Take-home pay for workers is going up, especially for lower and middle-income workers. And we've seen record numbers of people apply to start new businesses, more than 10 million of them. More than 10 million applications over the last 2 years starting businesses. Now we need to keep this progress going. That's what swift action that my administration over the past few years is all about. Protecting depositors, protecting the banking system, protecting the economic gains we've made together for the American people. Thank you, God bless you, and may God protect our troops. See you in California.
Who wrote this speech? Who wrote this speech? What does this have to do with anything of what's happening? Do you know what the markets is fucking doing right? Let me pull up the markets. You know what the markets is doing right now? I don't even know if I got it on this phone. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up. This is insane. What the hell are we talking about? It's almost like the more that I know, the less I want to know as a result of it. Y'all know what the markets is doing right now? First thing I see on here. Banks, stocks plunge, banks feel pressure, fallout, bank collapse. Is your retirement safe? Biden's tax hikes on high earners unlikely to make it through Congress. Charles Schwab stocks drop amid financial freakout. Sorry y'all can't see that. I'm sorry y'all can't see that. This man is literally a walking catastrophe, and y'all just gonna continue to follow him. Y'all gonna continue to follow him right on down that alcohol river into the sludge fest. This shit is insane. It's absolutely insane. It's insane. Let me read some of y'all super chats and see what y'all feeling out here in these streets, because I know y'all love them. Y'all love them. Y'all fought for them. Y'all voted for them, and nobody want to take accountability for what it is that's happening out here in these streets. Let me see what y'all talking about. Elliot Jackson says, also look up Jack. Oh, okay, you already told me that. I remember that. Let's see. AO says, love to be a moderator. Shout out to my girl AO. I appreciate you. Deep Thought, thank you for the 10 ball, because I'm going to give y'all the game. I Am Moral says, as long as the feds keep tightening, money will keep contracting, more banks will fail. Plus, why are the feds requiring zero in cash reserves for commercial banks? The Fed is working against itself. I don't envy Jerome Powell. But here's the thing. They stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's the only tool that they have in order to be able to fight inflation. So what do y'all want? Extremely high inflation? Because now we're in a space to where they put themselves at a crossroads. Meanwhile, the national debt is continuing to skyrocket. Something is going to have to break and something is going to have to give. You know who's going to break? You know who's going to give? Y'all. Y'all the one that's going to be at the forefront of this break. Forsaken Archive says, this departure reminds me of met a couple of guys that were up to no good, started making trouble in the neighborhood, got into a little fight. Hold on, let me highlight these. I want to capture all of the super chats. Thank you for the super chat, Forsaken Archives. Victoria Communion says, my 925 was affected by Silicon Valley Bank. I don't know what is next. Look like y'all should have joined the Patreon so y'all can get some tips on what it is that y'all was supposed to do with y'all assets. Y'all should have joined the Patreon. Y'all wanted to sit here and casually criticize me and talk about whether or not I was cussing somebody out instead of taking the jewels that came along with it. Terrell LMAO says, I'm curious about your stance on bank regulation. Do we need more? Reversal of certain Dodd-Frank regulations directly resulted in SVB's failure. No, I don't think that was what was directly involved with his failure. I think that banks collapse all the time. I don't necessarily think that it's only regulation that we need to be paying attention to. I think we need to look at the fundamental reasons of how consumers are spending their money and then put in safeguards for people to make the right decisions that then support the industries that we want to thrive. The Biden administration keep talking about regulation. We need to be talking about incentives for people to actually do what's in their own best interest while slowly tapering off what the need is for that inflation, because you can't keep solving your problem by printing more money, because then you'll have these boom bust cycles, right? The banks are super flush. They lending out as much money as possible because they got low interest rates. You know, everybody want to refinance at the same time. And so we got these boom bust cycles and we don't have any kind of stability, because the minute that things happen, they take drastic measures in order to be able to save the economy, save the banking system, save all of these things. You need a level of failure and you need a level of success, and you don't want things to go like this. You want things to go like this. You want it to just slowly trend upward. But when you have this and then you go down like this, you'll have these huge boom bust cycles in which they're trying to implement these different strategies all at the same time that are very, very extreme. And then something got to give. So I got a completely different mindset of what I think the solution is. But they don't want to see student in there. So they got to make sure that they get the experts in there in order to fix you guys. Ronnie Robinson says, can printing more money trigger a recession or a depression? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what happens is the more money you print, the less valuable your dollar is. And so what you think, when we see these stimulus checks, right? When they just give out free money, for example, for no actual real labor involved or whatever like that, it's meant to instill consumer spending and confidence at the same time. And they solve for that problem, and it actually happens. They instill consumer spending and confidence. You guys feel safe. You go and get more cars. You go and do whatever it is. You go and finance more stuff. The banks make more money, so on and so forth, right? But what happens is the value of that dollar goes shorter. It's a much shorter lifespan for that dollar. So now that's why you start to see loans, because people can't actually, it's a false sense of security in that things are okay. But you start to see these loans because people start focusing more on the payment instead of how much money that's going out the window as a result of it, which is one of the causes for inflation. So you'll get something like this. People will say, fight for $15 an hour. Fight for $15 an hour. Well, guess what? They got to pass that cost on somewhere. So when you go from $10 to $15 an hour, which is effectively a 33% increase in your wages, right? It's a 50% increase in housing at the same time. Then it's a 50% increase of the cost of that burger. And it's a 50% increase from the supply chain up to be able to sell that burger to you, in order for them to substantiate the cost, the additional cost to pay their workers to then do more things. And so either one of two things is going to happen. Something is going to have to give to where we actually slowly increase the cost of doing business and slowly increase how much we paying people according to whatever service they provide. But then in addition to that, if companies don't feel sufficient, then they'll start out innovating workers, still keep the prices at the same price, and then they'll start to import labor, import sources of different things that allows for them to continue to cut their costs. That's why you start seeing manufacture going over to China. That's why you start seeing manufacture going over to Mexico. That's why it's so easy for us to import different things, clothing, shirts, shoes, everything. We don't make anything here. And then the value of that dollar continues to go down, and the confidence of the consumer is eventually going to be eroded because they won't even be able to survive. You'll see homelessness spread. Everything that you're seeing right now is the Armageddon of bad decisions from all of the people that happened before us, and they kicked the can down the road and they didn't really solve the problem. Solving a problem is painless or painful, but it's not going to be as painful as these boom bust cycles. So let me continue. Let me continue to read the super chats, because y'all get me on my soapbox from a financial perspective. And I don't want to be on a soapbox. I just want to be able to give y'all the information so y'all can make your own decision. You can't say that you wasn't warned. You can't say that I didn't tell you what was going on. Let me read some more of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. Persevere Data TV says, with no debt, I'm currently saving for my first property. Is the money in that account considered a cash hoard, or is there a better savings option? Ask yourself this question. Dang, you forcing me to give Patreon level game, Persevere Data TV. It depends on how much you have, and it depends on the type of property that you're trying to buy. You don't want PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. You want to minimize the amount of money that you're paying, and it's nothing wrong with taking out a loan, especially for an asset that's going to continue to appreciate. The question that you have to ask yourself is the cost-benefit analysis, right? How much faster can you pay that property off? How quickly will it appreciate? But more importantly, the question that you ask yourself is, where's a safer place to hoard money? It's not in a savings account. It's not in a checking account. It's more or less in a brokerage account, because a brokerage account allows for you to then park money in other places that continue to make money while beating the rate of inflation, while you're waiting to get enough money to actually be able to secure that first property. Well, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just telling y'all how it is that I move. I believe that brokerage accounts are a much better option if you decide that you want to still participate within the banking system. Brokerage accounts are a much better option than checking or savings accounts. All right. And until a bank endorse me, I'm not telling y'all what bank y'all need to go with unless y'all get a coaching call. Leadvite Apparel says, Anton, don't forget to tell them that the banks are going to digital currency and Federal Reserve will own everything. Money banks become ATMs, no more holding money. We already see that happening. Mark Smith, thank you for the $5, says housing is also on a supply and demand lock, as people who have rates in the 2s and 3s aren't about to move out and take on a loan in the 6s. Unless some people are getting HELOCs, which is home equity loans of credit, or unless they can use it, they feel like they can use it to actually secure another property. Sometimes they do refinance for that, or they pull the money out for that. Jay Jackson says, check out the movie Margin Call. I know about Margin Call. I love Margin Call with Kevin Spacey. I absolutely love Margin Call. It's one of my favorite movies. Quincy Kubert says, you cooking with all the pots today. Thank you, this is what we do. This is what I want to spend more of my time doing. Having these type of conversations and having these type of live streams. I'm going to leave all of that other stuff in the relationship talks to y'all. I'm going to let y'all have that. Y'all got it. Y'all didn't want to hear my information on how it is that I stayed married for 20 years anyway. Y'all can go and fight with each other on the relationships talk. I'm going to spend more time over here with the money. Aaron says, if you voted for Biden, is this your king? Facts. He also says, this is hot potato. Which president will get stuck? I agree. Perry Unlikely says, but don't you know black banks don't crack, Anton? Go ahead. Start a black bank and see what happens. No Time to Woke podcast says one of the bank execs, Joseph Gentile, worked at Lehman Brothers as a CFO and left before the 2008 collapse. Very interesting. Michael Richardson, I appreciate you, says all these politicians are thieves. There's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. When they in that country club together, they are friends, and they are friends, and they all love each other. How do I know? Because I interview a former politician on a Millionaire Morning Show, or rather in the Patreon. Y'all need to go and check out the most recent interview that I dropped inside of the Patreon, because he told y'all exactly what happens behind the scenes with millionaires, billionaires, and how it is that they get things done within the political spectrum. And he even went as far as to say who they give money to and how many millions of dollars they spend within the neighborhoods and the black churches in order to get them to buy your vote. Y'all need to go and join the Patreon. That is a great, great thing. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, how the hell they only found out last week? You can't start a press conference on the basis of a big fat lie. Y'all really believe that these people is telling y'all the truth? Michael Richardson says, what about the tax interest on our house? Is he going to reverse that where we get our credit on the interest we pay? The markets are bad. 401ks suck. That's a whole. Y'all want me to break that down tomorrow? That might be a little too deep for a lot of people to be able to grasp. Let me read a few more of these super chats. Quentin says, trying to learn something this morning. Shout out to the people that's trying to get this bag this morning. Demetrius Shaw says, was rushing because I wanted to get a good head start. Shout out. Don't get a head start. Be patient. You see what's happening in the markets right now? Patience is key, my friend. Professor O, shout out to you for the foul ball. Thank you for supporting the platform. Alicia Burrow says, glad I finally joined the Chasers to get more of this knowledge. Hey, can we get a round of applause for all of the new Patreon members? Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Alicia. Brock says, pass a love offering. I appreciate all of the game you give out. Glad to be a bag chaser. Shout out and salute to all of the bag chasers. Purple Haze says, what up, Anton? Do you know what month you are on for coaching calls? And this is a 60-minute call, better for the initial call. 60 minutes is better. Send me an email, antondaniels413@gmail.com. Send me an email, and I'll give you more of that information on what it is that we can schedule. Forsaken Archive says, I was trying to get you to rap the Fresh Prince of the Bel-Air. It went over your head. Okay, I got it. My bad. It's different when you're looking at the texts. Slim Tebow says, over here cooking with Crisco. Shout out to my dog, DS. DS is in the building with the 100 ball, says, keep up the good work, the Blizzard King. Make sure y'all subscribe to my dog, Dennis Sperling. He do some great work over there on this channel. I love you, Dennis. Shout out to you. I know what's happening with the whole KS thing tonight. I got all of my people. I'm not even doing those shows tonight to make sure that we tuning in. Shout out to you. Much love to you. I know you got so much more to offer and so much information to give. I'll be tuned into your show. Shout out to my dog, Dennis Sperling. I love you, my friend. We doing great things. Thank you. Thank you for the 100 ball and for supporting the stream, bro. Original Everything, everyone. Everything else is carbon copy says, I love these financial conversations. We need to have more of these, but don't give up on relationships. There are people out there who are listening. Maybe I'll just do it as a Patreon exclusive or something like that. I don't know, but make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Ladies and gentlemen, the good doctor, Dr. Umar Johnson, is back in the news. I have thoughts on this, but before I give you my thoughts on this specifically, I want to share with you what it is that he posted. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you, Spaces, for continuing to hold me down. Let me show this video for y'all, all right?
Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, King Kong Consciousness, Intercontinental Tunde. We live at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Brothers and sisters, I got some bad news, but we not gonna stop. I want to give all my donors and supporters a minute to pull up at King Kong Consciousness Highway, Dr. Papa Boulevard, Tunde Avenue. We here, getting the school ready, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Intellectual Insurrection begins September 3rd, 2024. But we want y'all to know, you're hearing it directly from me, CEO, CAO, principal, history teacher, spirituality instructor, brothers and sisters. We have to cover the windows back up. We have to cover the windows back up. Brothers and sisters, we have to cover the windows back up on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Elementary School. We got to cover the windows up, family. We got to cover the windows back up. Somebody broke a window. They broke a window, brothers and sisters. They broke a window. I'm about to show y'all the window. We covering them back up. We can't. Black people, we are so self-hating, so self-destructive. They broke a window, brothers and sisters. So we got to cover them back up. We got to cover them back up. Investigation is pending. They broke the window. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? They broke the window, brothers and sisters. Y'all see that? They broke the window. Somebody threw a rock through the window. They threw a rock through the window, brothers and sisters. They threw a rock through the window. All the money we paid to get this done. And we got people sabotaging, brothers and sisters. I want y'all to see yourself. They threw a rock. Y'all see that? They bust the rock. They bust the rock, brothers and sisters. So we covering the windows back up. We got the good brothers
Reading super chat shortly. I want to let y'all let this play out a little bit more.
Out here, we're gonna cover the windows back up, brothers and sisters. We got black people who don't want to see us succeed. We got Negroes who don't want to see liberation, brothers and sisters.
Now, my first question is always, well, how do you automatically assume that they black, right? I thought that we as black people were supposed to give each other the benefit of the doubt. How do you know that they're black, doctor? How do you know that it's black people? Now, before we get into this, let me say this. And before I give my thoughts, because I do have some extensive thoughts on this. I don't like to see people sabotage other people just because they disagree with them. You may disagree with how it is that he runs his school, then choose not to enroll. You may disagree with his take on certain political issues of how it is that he sees the black community, then don't watch his content. I disagree with Dr. Umar Johnson on a lot of different things, especially with how it is that he looks at things from a business perspective, but that's my opinion. I will never, ever advocate for the sabotage of somebody else just because you don't like them or you don't like the stance that they take on something in particular. Now, I do have some more thoughts in particular, and there's some things that I agree with Dr. Umar Johnson on. I disagree with him more than I agree with him. However, I'm able to be objective enough, like the last video that I dropped where he was highlighting what it is that he thought about the emasculation of men, especially as it pertains to how it is that the NAACP was giving Dwayne Wade an award based off of what it was that he was doing to his kids. I agreed 100% with what he said. He didn't miss one time on that video, and I highlighted it, and I highlight that. And there's some other things that I want to say with regard to this whole situation. But again, I do not, and whomever it is, again, he can't automatically assume that it's black based off of where it is that he stands on a lot of these issues. I do not, and I will never, advocate against anybody losing money as a result of somebody not liking them. I am never going to stop somebody from getting their money and getting their bag. And this ain't just with Dr. Umar Johnson. This is just in general. I don't believe in doxing. I don't believe in stopping people's money and all of that other type of stuff. Yo, that's the ability for them to be able to feed their families. And secondly, just because you don't like him does not mean that you have the right to be able to try and sabotage what he's building. If it's his school, keep your hands off of other people's stuff. Keep your hands to yourself. Stop trying to stop other people from doing what they want to do. If you just disagree with him, then give your opinion in a video like he give his opinion on different people and different things that he stand for. But stop trying to put your hands on other people and stop thinking that you smart and you better than everybody else and that you can start sabotaging other people's stuff and throwing rocks through windows and stuff. That's not cool. That's not cool. Now, I want to let a little bit more of this video play so that I can give you the information on how I see what he's communicating right here.
We got Negroes who don't want to see liberation. So we got to cover the windows back up, brothers and sisters. They hate us. You got black folks.
Now remember, y'all, think about this. And this is why I say it's a difference between looking at things from a business perspective and understanding the nature of people and understanding how money works versus just doing something because you think that it's the right thing to do. Okay? Okay, so let's say you cover the windows back up. Because now that I've advocated that people should not be putting their hands on this stuff in the first place, I got to be realistic in highlighting what it is that he's dealing with. Have y'all ever opened up a business in the hood? I have. And one of the things that I realized very quickly is that it was a mistake trying to civilize people that had no interest in you being successful or you bringing a quality thing over into that particular area. See, these is lessons that I learned very early, which is one of the reasons he needs to tap in with me, right? We need to have a conversation and sit down. When the school opens and he takes the boards off of the windows, what's stopping people from vandalizing and sabotaging and throwing a brick through the window again? Let me say that one more time. When the school opens and he takes the boards back off the window after he gets the window repaired again, what's stopping somebody from vandalizing and throwing a brick through the window again? Just a question. This is a logical question that we have to ask ourselves when we try to do good things for the community. He's not wrong for whatever it is that he feels like he's trying to do for the community. But from a business perspective, what's stopping people from doing the same thing over and over again?
Folks who don't want to.
And good doctor, you're supposed to have insurance on the building, sir. Do you have insurance on the building, sir? Neither here nor there. We don't know.
See us win. They don't want to see black boys win. They broke the windows, so we got to pay. Brothers and sisters, hit your Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, brothers and sisters. Let them know that we're going to do this no matter what. Hit the Cash App.
Yo, hold on. If I was trying to finesse, all right? If I was trying to finesse, honestly. Oh man. If I was trying to finesse and I was trying to raise more money than what the window even cost, is this not a phenomenal marketing opportunity, or is this not a phenomenal marketing opportunity? If I was...
Let them know we going to do this no matter what. Hit your Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit your Cash App for...
If I was the good doctor, I'm not saying that he did this. If I was a good doctor, I might have broke the window myself. Like, hey, we need to raise some more money. Hit the Cash App out here in these streets. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Let's get these donations up because we got to make sure that we... FDMG School. FDMG BMF School of Business. Hit the Cash App. Oh, my God.
The haters who bust our window out. Hit your Cash App for the haters who bust our window out. Hit your Cash App for the haters who bust the window out. $FDMG School.
Yo, honestly, and this is the God's honest truth, this sounds just like the church. This sounds just like the church. They will set a separate line for the people that's going to give $500 or more, a special donation for the building fund. They got a separate line for the people that paid $2,000 or more or get a whole paycheck. This is the same, honestly, honest to God, and I'm not saying that he's doing it. I'm just saying in general, it just sounds like it. It's very similar to what I experienced in a black church growing up. It's the same thing, man. It's like, boy, if this ain't a marketing strategy, I don't know. You ain't have insurance on that building, Doc? You know what the insurance company is going to say? Nope, not in that neighborhood. We're going to continue. It's a reason why they're giving these buildings away for free. It's a reason why they're giving these buildings away for free. I don't know how much he paid for it, but I'm sure it's close to nothing. They give these buildings away because nobody is even willing to take them, because it's almost a liability and it's going to cost you more to even be able to inhabit these buildings than you will get as a result of doing it. And this is why we got to look at things from a business perspective. If you want to create an environment that's conducive for your students, or that people would feel more comfortable with bringing their students to, then you have to create the oasis. And that comes with a lot more than just getting a building, throwing some rooms in it, putting some windows on it, and then throwing some paint on the outside. And I get it. Listen, I think that it's admirable. I honestly think that it's admirable that, he's doing this and he's trying to do this thing for his community. But Jesus, y'all, if it's not short-sighted, I don't know what is. These buildings, honestly, is probably, if I had to anticipate and I had to guess just from a realistic perspective, and I hope that he's successful, these buildings will become no more than, what do they call it? Event centers, where they can just host parties or throw different events, or, hey, if you want to rent this out in order to raise money, or, hey, come and rent the gym out. Y'all know how churches then rent out the basketball gym in order to continue to raise money. This is such a bad business plan.
I got on Huey P. Newton today because I think it's time to go to war. I got on my Huey P. Newton, rest in peace, co-founder of the Black Panther Party, Oakland, California, 1966. Huey P. Newton, assassinated the day after my birthday, August the 27th. I had to put on Huey P. Newton today with the Garvey RBG because we got to go to war. They trying to stop us from building a...
Hey, who y'all think made that hoodie? Like, where do you think that the cotton was sold from that hoodie? Where do you think that it was manufactured at before somebody did a print on that hoodie in order to...
Education for our children? You trying to stop an independent school? You gonna bust the windows out of our school because you jealous? You hating on the babies? How you gonna hate on the future of black boys? How you gonna hate on the future of black boys, brothers and sisters? They hating on the future. We got cameras in. We got cameras in. I'm going to be looking at camera footage all night to find out who did this. We got cameras.
Lord, help us. Help us, Lord. Help us to be smarter and wiser in how it is that we going about doing things. God, let me not hate, because I know a lot of y'all gonna be that love Dr. Umar gonna say, Anton out here hating. No, I'm about to pray for him. God, in your son Jesus' name, we bring Dr. Umar Johnson, S3.EP44, FDMG, BMF School of Business to the front of you, and we pray for both him and for the school's success. All right, we pray that all of the people's Cash App donations will be able to substantiate that this is a success, that it's not an exercise in futility. We pray that his windows no longer get bust, even though that is just a part of business. When you open up a school in the hood, then that's what business owners go through, and that's why they be putting bars and plexiglass on the windows, bulletproof glass on the window. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted, God. We bring Dr. Umar Johnson and all that he's trying to do for the black community before you to pray for his success, that there are no more obstacles, that people don't have to overpay and hitting the Cash App in order for him to be able to get the school open, and that tuition is not overly high, so that the babies don't have to be hated on, and everybody can get a good education from the CEO, CAO, CTO, principal, protector, provider, security guard, and overseer of S3.EP44. Because he had like 7 different roles. So, Lord, don't let him be overwhelmed with all of these roles, trying to do all the things for everybody. In your son, Jesus' name, amen.
We got cameras. I'm going to be looking at camera footage all night to find out who did this. We got cameras. We got cameras. I'm going to be...
Lord, bless Dr. Umar Johnson to be able to get rest that night and not to be looking at cameras all night. In Jesus' name.
Looking at camera footage all night to find out who did this, brothers and sisters. We got cameras. The cameras is working. I'm going to see who did it. I'm going to see who did it. Don't worry about that. We're going to see who did it. I might not know who they are, but we're going to see who did it. So don't worry about that. I just want y'all to see the type of opposition we get for trying to save our children. I just want y'all to see the type of...
Oh my God. This guy is like the smartest, funniest dude I've ever seen in my entire life. How you gonna be smart, stupid? We got cameras. I might not be able to see who did. I might not know who it is. I might not be able, but I want to show you guys what we up against. Oh man, look. I can't. Let me see if I can get a little bit more out of this. Hold on.
Opposition we getting for trying to save our own children. I just want y'all to see the kind of opposition we getting for trying to save our own children. That's all, brothers and sisters. I hope y'all learned something today during the Black Parent teleconference. Soon when the teleconference ended, I got a call. As soon as the teleconference ended, I got a call. As soon as the teleconference ended, I got a call that the windows were broken at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Elementary School, brothers and sisters. But they not gonna stop us. Who broke the windows, brothers and sisters? Who broke we gonna find out. I'm gonna put the footage up. When I find out the footage, I think I'm gonna put the footage up. The police done already been here. Investigation is pending. Investigate. We're going to find out who did this. And I'm pressing charges. I'm pressing charges. I got an idea who might have done it. I think we all got an idea of who might have done it.
Who?
I think we all got an idea of who might have done it.
Tell us.
But we ain't going to worry about that. I'm taking on the whole miseducation system. Bob.
Dr. Umar, tell us that you're not going to press charges on these good black folk. Don't you press charges and put another black man in jail, Dr. Umar Johnson. I want to know who did it. Who drove over to the FDBMG BMF School of Business in order to throw a rock through that window? And I'm against it, but I certainly don't want to see.
Let me tap into my people. See what y'all think about this. My dog Spaces says, "My man, ain't nobody blaming you for getting emotional over less. I haven't even met her and look at her like a little sister. Don't forget we were about to throw paws and protection of Miss Rita at the Detroit meetup, Bag Chasers." Yo, my people, when I did a meetup here in Detroit, it was a little skerfuffle that had nothing to do with any of the Bag Chasers or whatever, but we was at the MGM Grand, and over in the corner, it was like a little skerfuffle of a couple people that was over at the bar that wasn't unrelated to us. Man, they formed around Rita like Voltron. I was like, oh, y'all love what we got going on over here. Shout out to Spaces. I appreciate you. Dwight Middleton, my dog, with the 20 ball, just supporting the platform. Thank you. AQ says, "I'm so glad I listened to you, AD, game changer. I appreciate you, love." Mr. Halil says, "This is a tactic he does all the time. He is the one who broke that window. He does this to keep the scam going and keep pushing back the date." Y'all crazy. We can't assume that. We don't know. He going to show us the footage on the camera. Hopefully it's not a tall guy with crinkly hair at the top that got a hoodie on with Huey P. Newton that's running, throwing the glass in the window. No lacking, the police came to take a report and investigate, but you never showed the police the camera footage? Facts. Hit the Cash App with the 10 ball. Shout out Life of Devontae. Rashard Howard says the bigger finesse would be if the broken window wasn't even on his building. We don't know. We all going by what it is that we see. Also, give a shout out to Carl Oakley says, "People, Carl, you don't sound like you're from Philly. Me." There's a reason for that. The so-called city of brotherly love. Hit the hashtag, hit the Cash App. Shout out to Curl. Hey, I know what's happening over in Kensington Ave. Y'all over there wilding on Kensington Ave. My dog, pocket watching with JT. Pocket watching. I promised the people that me and you was going to do a webinar and a Patreon for the Bag Chasers because they love you. They show so much love to you. The last time that you pulled up and you did a webinar and a live stream for the Patreon members, they absolutely loved it. And they said, we can't get enough of what's going on with Pocket Watching JT. He showed us everything. He talked about opening up a business, how it is that he needs to structure our taxes, all of these other type of things. Pocket Watching with JT, I love you, says no matter what, the fundraising never ends. Pocket Watching, I'm calling you probably within the next 2 days after I land from my flight so that we can get this set up for this webinar for the Bag Chasers and the Patreon for you to be able to live stream. We love what you do over there, Pocket Watching. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to hold us down. Shout out to Armor Agape. Says he looked like Angry Man and Israel had a child. Oh, y'all mess. Y'all stay off my dog, Angry Man. He was in Detroit this past weekend. Also, Original Everything Else is Carbon Copy says, Anton, you out here helping, changing lives, but for those of you who are not doing nothing and just talking, I have no respect for it because at least Umar is out here in the trenches and speaking the truth. But Umar has told y'all to hit the Cash App 100,000 times, though, Original. I don't know. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Persevere Data TV says, hit the Cash App. Ladies and gentlemen, I caught the code. Hit a Cash App. Shout out to my people. Shout out to the Bag Chasers, the Patreon members. I don't want to leave you guys, and thank you, Persevere Data TV, for the 20 ball and everybody that continue to support the platform. I don't want to leave y'all with bad news, all right? I want to hopefully inspire. I want to hopefully take an example of how it is that you can utilize what somebody else is doing, not what's happening with these bank failures, not what's happening when it comes to people sabotaging Dr. Umar's school, not what's happening when it comes to your misunderstanding of how money works because you think that just because you make more cash that you're not affected by what goes on with inflation, what's going on with these bank closures, what's going on with layoffs, and you have not joined the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But hopefully we can leave you with a bit of a lesson. And I'm reading the super chats throughout the show. Hopefully we can leave you with a bit of a lesson on how it is that you can do things more effectively by looking at somebody else and what it is that they're doing and how it is that we can either adopt some of their principles and philosophies or leave some of it at bay and use them as a learning experience. This young man is from South Carolina making $187,000 a year. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let's get into it so I can leave y'all with hopefully some inspiration on how it is that you can do things more differently.
Life as a travel nurse can be challenging. I'm away from my family. I'm away from my dog. I'm basically away from everything that I call home. I'm way outside of my comfort zone, usually in different cities, different states. You always have to be flexible, adjustable, and just kind of willing to learn right then and there. And if you don't know, I try to ask questions.
29-year-old travel nurse making $187,000 a year. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, right? I did a live stream inside of the Patreon last year where I had 3 travel nurses that were all bag chasers, dudes that I coached, dudes that paid off all of their debt, that I pushed them to start getting into sound investments such as real estate, not no wholesaling, not none of that other shit, not saying that that's bad, but I pushed them to start buying assets instead of buying debt or buying things that substantiates more debt in order to support their lifestyle. They paid off their debt. But they also gave the game inside of the Patreon of how it is that you can get into travel nursing, or how it is that you need to evaluate whether or not you're best for this particular profession, because there is a lot of money and job security that comes along with it. If you are a bag chaser and you have not watched that particular episode, it is in the Patreon of the 3 male, and they were all men, travel nurses that are bag chasers, and they gave the game on what the industry is like, how much they work, how much money they make, what it takes in order to get into the industry. Make sure you watch that video inside of the Patreon. It is chock full of gems. It is an awesome live stream that we did.
My name is Aspen Tucker. I'm 29 years old. I make $187,000 a year, and I live in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm a registered nurse who has transitioned into a travel nurse. So I've been doing this about 3 years now. And I was working at a staff job local in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
So he was making $30 an hour as a regular staff nurse, and his contract nursing positions pay $70 per hour. Now, I don't know a whole lot, all of the ins and outs, but I can only go by what it was that was communicated on the Patreon and what it is that's communicated to me when I get these coaching sessions with these guys and I'm advising them on how it is that they need to manage their money more effectively. They go into different states that then pay them a per diem for their housing. Different states pay significantly more depending on where it is that they travel nursing to. Some states or some places are a little bit more remote, less to do there, which then they have to incentivize it more for them to come there, but they also get to travel. And again, depending on how it is that they negotiate their contract, they make a lot of tax-free money that comes along with becoming a travel nurse. So there's so many incentives in addition to what's being paid as a salary for the travel nurse. And then you also need to manage your money more effectively when it comes to being 1099 employee versus being a traditional employee. But let's continue.
My mom and stepdad were travel nurses, so I knew it was something I could do. But my mom started traveling back in 2006, and I remember like she was making like $3,000 a week at the time, and like it blew my mind. My mom was always in my ear, like, Aspen, you should pursue nursing, you should do travel nursing. Like, you like to travel, and then you can see different places and still be a nurse and still help people. So I knew then and there, I was like, when my opportunity comes, I have to jump on this opportunity. I cannot wait on it. The time that I became a travel nurse was almost like the golden age because the money was really high at that time.
COVID.
Of course, it was smack dab in the mid of COVID.
Travel nurses made so much money during the pandemic. They were making so much money and they were so overwhelmed with the opportunities that some of them even quit because they couldn't handle even with all of the money that came with it. So it's also a hustler's job too.
So you needed nurses everywhere. The demand was high. It hasn't slowed down any. The money has dropped some in some aspects when it comes to assignments, but it's never going to be a dry spell.
So if you want to travel and jump around all the time, this is your opportunity to be able to do so, especially if you don't have any attachments like small kids. If you're a single person and you don't mind working and putting the time in, this is the perfect field for you.
Since I only try to work 8 or 9 months out of the year, I try to work as much as possible. So usually I work a lot of overtime. So normally I'm doing between 48 hours and 60 hours throughout a work week. Essentially pays more to work more. So of course I try to work more. What does help a lot of times is that I have a huge support system, people that can look after my house, look after my cars, look after my dog. Another big help is that I have a supportive girlfriend who's also a travel nurse, so sometimes we can take travel contracts together, sometimes we can take them separate, but it just depends because she understands the lifestyle just as much, what comes with working all the time and not being in a familiar environment. I have 4.
Now this is the part that I want to see, because I want to see how he manages his money. So we know that he makes a lot of money. We know he makes about $187,000 a year. I want to see how he manages his money, okay?
Credit cards currently, I have a Discover card, I have a Bank of America card, I have a Truist credit card as well as a Capital One card. The biggest thing that I usually put on my credit cards is the rental car, and I usually use the Truist credit card because I can transfer that from my checking and pay it off interchangeably with that.
So I've said this myself. A lot of people said, because I showed y'all the Amex Platinum, but now I really only use one credit card. I'm not an advocate for debt, right? I'm not an advocate for credit cards at all. I don't even care if you're paying off the interest. I don't care about the points, none of that. But I have to have it because I travel so much, and you need it in order to be able to reserve hotel rooms, rental cars, and all that other type of stuff. So I don't have any problem so far with what it is that he's saying.
I've always been taught to any expense that I accrue on those to always pay it off. Even if it's a $13 or $23, $30 balance, I pay it off then, just to kind of try to stay away from the interest with those.
All right, so let's see what we got here. We got housing at $2,700 a month, okay. I don't agree with the green. Support for friends and family, $1,600 a month. I'm sorry. We don't give out free rides. $1,600 a month in order to be able to support friends and family? That's a no-go. That's a no-go. Nope. $1,600 back in my money, back in my budget. $1,600 for discretionary. Okay, that just means that he's having a good time. I'm reading super chats in a minute. I'm gonna come back down to the bottom. Phone, $105. Subscriptions, $132. Okay. Insurance, $893. Travel and entertainment, $1,000. But I thought that the discretionary is the same thing as travel and entertainment. So we looking at $2,600 to basically do whatever it is that you want to do. Let me see.
Credit cards.
Food, $1,400. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. Food, $1,400.
$23.
And transportation, $1,600. Food, $1,400. Transportation, $1,600. Let me see something one more time.
$30 balance, I pay it off then, just to kind of try to.
I don't see anything investment though. So he's spending $11,000 per month, but I don't see anything when it comes to investing. If you are a man that's not married and you don't have no kids, and this is one of the reasons why I say it's a difference between making a lot of money and understanding how money works. If you just make a lot of money and that's the end of the conversation, we got a problem. I see nothing that says investing. I don't see anything. $1,400 in food, $1,600 in discretionary, travel and entertainment, $1,000, insurance, $893, support for family and friends, $1,600. All of that money should be going into investing. What do you mean, family and friends? I don't understand that. And then at the bottom,
stay away from the interest with those credits.
$1,600 in transportation. You're a travel nurse. What you mean $1,600 in transportation? I don't see anything in 401ks. I don't see anything in IRAs. I don't see anything in a traditional IRA. I don't see a Roth IRA. I don't see nothing.
Credit cards.
Maybe he gonna add some additional context. There we go. He owns 2 properties in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So he does have some. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's doing it the right way, But the fact that he's even in real estate, I got to give him a little bit of credit.
I like to try to have a good balance. I like to try to live for the now. I'm going to eat at nice restaurants, enjoy a good, decent quality of life, and I'm going to travel a lot, but also to investing in real estate.
I like this guy. Why does he have 2 additional vehicles? I don't understand. Why are you... Okay, so if you got 2 vehicles, why are you paying a $470 a month car note? Y'all just be wasting money, man. Y'all literally just be wasting money, man. It's just... It didn't say that he needed it for a separate business or anything like that. He just throwing money away. I mean, which he can do whatever it is that he want to do, but he got like a 1998 Mustang.
The reason I have 3 cars is each one serves a purpose. And then my Ford Mustang is just a more pleasure. It's convertible. Sometimes when I'm home, I let the top down and unwind a little bit and relax and enjoy it.
Stop it.
Travel nursing can be rough navigating.
He had like a dusty Civic, a busted Mustang, and then paying $470 a month for a pickup truck. Okay.
Health insurance. As soon as your contract ends, you have like a grace period of maybe a week or 2 for your health insurance to end. So I try to think smart and I try to get everything done while I'm under that contract. Just an example of that, recently, I had my wisdom teeth pulled. They were hurting, but I didn't want to do it when I didn't have a contract.
And he got $50,000 in student loan debt. Come on, fam. Get the debt off. Get the debt off, bro. You make too much. If you're making $187,000, first of all, a lot of that's getting ate up by taxes because he's probably not actually doing the things that's in his best interest from an investment perspective in order to lower his adjusted gross income. Adjusted gross income for people in the chat is how much money you make at the end of the day when you minus out the business expenses or you add the business expenses plus what it is that you made on your regular job. So, for example, if you make $100,000 a year and then your business make $20,000 a year, what you're going to be taxed on, whether you pay taxes out of that business income or not, is $120,000 a year. That's your adjusted gross income. Conversely, let's say that you invested or you started a new business this year and it wasn't profitable because you had a lot of startup expenses, but you made $100,000 a year. And let's say it cost you $30,000 in order to start up that business and you got all of the bookkeeping and everything goes well. Well, that means that your adjusted gross income is $70,000 a year. Otherwise, you're going to be paying taxes on $100,000 a year. So if he makes $187,000 a year and he doesn't have a business, he doesn't have anything that actually lowers his tax burden by investing in things that ultimately will pay off, such as assets and business expenses that then justify you growing something else that's going to be residual income long term, then all he doing is giving away a ton of money over into the federal government in the highest tax brackets as a single man. And this is why I say it's the difference between understanding how money works and making a lot of money. Because just because you're making a lot of money, now he driving around in that old ass Mustang, and then y'all gonna be saying, well, rich people drive around in Honda Civics and Mustangs. Some of the dumbest people that I know with money is doctors. Honest to God. So I've got some of the people that were the worst with money are the ones that made the most money, and they were doctors. I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. Thank y'all for contributing to the platform.
I was brought up on the ideology that debt is a part of society no matter what. And I believe in good debt versus bad debt. Education for me was a good debt. Having $50,000 in student loans is a lot, but it was necessity to be a registered nurse.
Think about what he just said. It's the same mentality that a lot of y'all have when y'all fight me every single day. Think about what he's saying. It's the same mentality that y'all have when y'all fight me every single day. I was raised to believe that debt is just a part of what it is that we do. It's the thing that I was telling y'all about the banks when we first jumped on this live stream. They've programmed you to think that debt is a good thing. It's not. You don't have to be in debt just because that's the way that they programmed you to be in society. What did I tell y'all in the beginning of this live stream of how banks work? What did I tell y'all in the beginning of this stream about how banks work? And no matter how much money you make, you're still taking you with you. And he's programmed to believe that debt is supposed to be a part of his fabric and his makeup. And so he's going to pay interest rates on his car. He's going to pay interest rates on things that actually don't make no sense. He's going to continue to keep the student loan payment instead of paying that junk off. He'd have so much more income to be able to throw into the things that's going to allow for him to not have to work for the rest of his life once he gets to a certain age, which he can then work if he wants to, but he doesn't have to work. But it's because he believes that debt is good, and a lot of y'all think the same way, and y'all argue me down every single day about how debt is a good thing. Oh man, it's debt, don't worry about it. Why would I do that? Okay, cool. It's gonna have you driving a 1998 Mustang.
I was able to go straight into ownership just because of living at home, and my mom is still in that principle: save your money until you can buy a home.
I like that idea. He should have saved more than $10,000. If you're making $187,000 a year, you should save more than $10,000 while you're living at home, so you can put a bigger down payment on your house and you don't have to pay PMI. PMI is private mortgage insurance, and if usually most people try to put 3.5% down so that they can get their first property, well, again, you're giving away free money because it's riskier for them to lend to you because you didn't actually put 20% down. And for most of y'all, you get a lower interest rate if you get a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage, which then you pay more than double the interest. But a lot of y'all are so focused on the payments instead of how much money you're giving away to the banks. Listen, y'all, we got to do the thing that's in our best interest. And they want you. They want you from a cultural perspective, from a black people's perspective, white people, whoever. They want you to be enslaved by debt. You don't have to be subjected to this whole mindset.
What made buying real estate in Spartanburg attractive is just the low cost, as well as that if something breaks down, if something happens here, I have family here that can help. I bought this place $93,000 and I put down around $4,000. So I still had about $6,000, I believe, left. After that, I had saved $10,000, so I had money left to kind of furnish the place, little things like that. I have 2 free bedrooms here that I will be Airbnb-ing out as well.
So if he'd have put 20% down, he could have stayed in his parents' crib for a little bit longer and saved $20,000 instead of putting $4,000 down. But the whole 20 bands down. Matter of fact, you make $180,000 a year. Man, I would have stayed at the crib and just paid off the whole crib. I would have stayed hustling and just paid off the whole crib, honestly. It ain't nothing wrong with staying in your mama's basement. Listen, fellas, don't let no woman shame you into not doing the thing that's in your best interest. Ain't nothing wrong with staying at the crib. I did it. I was already killing it, and I stayed at the crib. I was just like, you know what? We comfortable. Who is it that I'm trying to? And then we outgrew it. Leslie started getting big. My daughter started getting big. Okay, well, we got to go and do something different now. But he could have bought that whole place. Wasting money.
It kind of helped my monthly income as well as sustain it. The way I look at it, if the places are going to be here, I might as well have them being paid for. I put down 20%, which is around $57,000.
There you go.
I wanted to do that to keep my payments low. I currently have someone moving in there, and they're gonna pay me $900 a month. And the other side, I plan on Airbnb, but currently my mortgage with the duplex is $1,200 a month.
Don't you do it.
About friends and family.
Don't do it.
Sometimes people consider it too much, but I always followed my grandfather's blueprint.
No.
Like, he helped everybody.
No.
And I think that's the way I try to
No,
do it.
don't do it, sir.
I have one friend that is incarcerated that I try to give money to. The reason I do that,
we always got a homie in jail. Putting money on this nigga books. JPay. A lot of y'all not familiar with JPay. Y'all know what JPay is? Y'all know what JPay is? A lot of y'all not familiar with JPay. It's always, listen, feeling the need. No, he got a mama. He probably got a baby mama. He got a daddy. Let them take care of him. But you spending $1,600 a month in order to make sure that you take care of your incarcerated friends and JPay? Nah, fam. That's what the system is for.
it's because I know at the end of the day, that could be me.
No, it can't.
I know at the end of the day,
It can never be me. I could never be in prison. I could never be in prison. I could never be in prison. That cannot be me. Stop wishing this death on y'all lives, man. Stop wishing this duress on yourselves. No, it cannot be you. It cannot be anybody that you know. It's some people whose families never, ever go to prison and never get arrested and never go to jail.
A lot of times when you come from our communities, especially, poor, being African American in our communities, you don't have a lot of opportunities. So any way I can help, I'm always going to be willing to help, because I know on the flip side, if he could do it for me, he would do it for me as well.
How you going to create a nursing scholarship and you still got debt? Okay, enough of this foolishness. When I tell y'all often at times that you need to help yourself before you try to help somebody else, be selfish before you can be selfless, you sitting up there with all of this debt and he feel obligated to be able to. He acting like he me. He acting like he balling. I created a scholarship. Man, if you don't pay off your student loans and get yourself together.
When it comes to giving back, it's essential. I could cut costs probably by not helping people as much, but that's not who I am. Even the shirt I have on now, I'm saying,
do it.
Love will save the world.
No.
I believe in giving back. I don't believe in ever being selfish with money, because money comes and.
No, you got to be selfish so you can be selfless. There's nothing wrong with giving back, but you give back after you get yourself together, not a minute before. You paying for your homies in jail, giving out scholarships like you Bill Gates or something. What they do? What the
goes, but the relationships that you make last forever. I don't ever want to be a person that acts like I'm better than anybody, tries to be better than anybody. My plan is always to help others around me.
See, this is what they want me to do. They want me to stay humble and say, oh, Anton, what are you continuing to do for the black community? Helping myself, helping my bag chasers, and helping my family. The best way that I can help the black community is make sure that I'm not a part of the problem. The best way that I can help the black community is to make sure that I'm not a part of the problem. I don't have survivor's guilt. I got survivor's balling tendencies. I don't feel guilty. You ain't never got to worry about me giving to a nigga that don't like me. You ain't never got to worry about me giving to a dude that don't like me. Unlikely.
Look like me, that come from similar backgrounds to me, to help them get on a better path so we all can be successful together. When I'm not working, I'm a leisure person, and the first thing I'm doing is booking a vacation. If I'm going to work hard, I'll try to play harder. All
right, enough is enough. I don't need to say anymore. Listen, guys, we need to be a little bit more strategic with what's going on in society and with our money. We need to make more informed decisions as far as our investments. And we do need to be selfish before we selfless. If you need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to be tapped in with Pocket Watching with JT because I'm going to get that webinar set up. And then within the next 2 days, I have a video specifically for Patreon members that allow for you guys to continue to level up. And I'm going to be giving y'all the game. Let me read some of these super chats. Centennial G says, Dispora Mbaku, Wakanda LLC by KY Merch Brothers. Brothers. Shout out to Centennial G with the fireball. Life of Devontae with the fireball. I appreciate you, big dog. Everything else is carbon copy. Says, Anton, don't like your arrogance, but love your confidence. I love a lot of what you do. Love that you hold men and women accountable, hold the bar high with morals and with success. Need to come to DC. Yo, we had a Patreon meetup in DC. I'm coming back to DC. Thank you, my friend. Also, he says, I know someone who owns a nursing agency and they make really good money. It's sad, though. A lot of them, he said, it's sad, though, a lot of African Americans don't like nursing. It's great need in this field. Never out of job in the area. Nursing is a phenomenal industry for people to get into. Percy Brown says, good day, brother Anton. Just joined the Bag Chasers. Can we get a round of applause for Percy Brown and all of the new Bag Chasers, ladies and gentlemen? I appreciate you with the 20 super chat said. Thank you for the good game and your teaching. Appreciate your content. I appreciate you too. And hopefully you find as much value in the Patreon and in the content. Make sure y'all join the Discord when y'all join the Patreon, because that's where your tribe members spend the majority of their time. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. Make sure y'all join that Discord and then be able to support your friends and your family that y'all now rocking with it in Patreon. AL Inspirational Champion says he's definitely from Spartanburg, the hood, shaking my head. Thank you for the 2-ball. And Dowell says doctors have high fixed costs, especially if married with kids to another doctor. And they pay a lot in taxes too. Lucid Experience, shout out to the Lucid Experience, says good debt versus bad debt. Bruh, it's all debt. Facts. Executive Suite MLE, I like that name, says just join the Patreon. Can we get a round of applause and a salute to all of the new bag chasers, y'all? Looking forward to the hidden gems. They not even so hidden. They wide open in the Patreon. You unlock everything. Also, AQ Inspirational Champion says he needs a coaching session ASAP. You know, sometimes a lot of people are content with being regular. And thank y'all for the super chats and supporting the platform. A lot of people are content with being regular and they don't want to do anything other than what they feel comfortable with. And so you kind of let them live in that space and you don't try to force them out of it, because then they're going to feel like you criticizing them, or you trying to push them out of their comfort zone, or you trying to keep them from keeping it real and they don't want to be like you. So you meet people where they at and you just leave open an opportunity to be able to pour into them. And then hopefully they find their way and you can add value to them, at some point in their life. But thank you guys for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. Again, I am creating new shows, new people, because I am going to be removing myself and stepping away from being as visible on a lot of these other panels and platforms so that I can spend more time pouring into you, pouring into my family, and hopefully adding value, even more value into the Patreon and my bag chasers. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Millionaire Morning Show. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share this with your family and friends, because we don't want to be successful by ourselves. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Do the thing that's in your best interest. Add as much value as you possibly can. And more importantly, make sure that you subscribed and got on your notifications so that you know when I go live and you know when I drop a new video. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve for you guys. You guys are my heart. I'm going to see y'all same time tomorrow morning. Happy Monday, everybody.